Chapter and Pipeman on W4CY Radio.
Wake up, America! It's time for the adventures of Pipeman on W4CY.com, West Palm Beach's #1 internet radio station. Here's your host, the Pipeman.
This is the Pipeman here on the Adventures of Pipeman W4CY Radio, and I'm here with pretty cool-ass musicians. Well, we have one of them here, but they're all cool-ass musicians. So let's welcome to the show, JA6UR from Lÿnx. How are you?
Not bad. How's it going to you?
So did I pronounce your name right? Because I just took a stab at it.
You got it.
You never know, okay? Like, it may look like that's the way you're supposed to pronounce it, and then they're like, well, no, and, so.
Yeah, definitely. I get a lot of it, too. Like, it's spelled weird, too, so.
Yeah, so let me ask you a question. That's a funny way to start off. Mm-hmm. What are the funniest or worst pronunciations that you've gotten?
I get JA6UR a lot. Yeah, JA6UR's pretty common. And I got Jaguar. That one's good, especially with the cat theme of the band too, right?
Right.
Being called Lynx. Yeah, that one's pretty common. Yeah, those are the two. Or and then no one spells it right either. They're spelled weird.
So I could see the JA6UR too, because immediately as soon as you said that, I wouldn't have thought of it by just looking at the name, but as soon as you said it, I immediately thought of Jaromir JAGR.
Oh, yeah?
The hockey player. So,
yeah.
Like, I could see maybe if somebody, and I am into hockey, but I could see somebody that's like got hockey on the brain, they might be thinking that right there.
Oh, for sure. That JA6UR bombs, for sure.
There you go. Absolutely. Well, you can't have 80s metal without JAGR bombs, even though I'm from 80s metal. And there was no JAGR back then, but if there was, it would be.
If there was, it'd be there. Yeah, no, it's all about the Jack Daniels is what it's about.
Exactly. Well, that hanging out at the Rainbow during the '80s, that was what it was all about.
Oh, absolutely.
Did you ever see the meme? Okay, so it goes right along with that. There's this meme of the rock star from the '80s and the rock star now. Did you ever see that meme?
I don't think so, no.
Okay, so it's so funny because the picture on top is of this long-haired hair metal dude lying on the ground, guitar in his hand in one hand, and Jack Daniels in the other hand. Yep. And then it shows the rock star of today with the guitar on his lap, sitting at the laptop.
Yeah, I mean that's how it is these days. It's different for sure. But
right, I mean,
you can find me with the Jack Daniels though, absolutely.
Well, there you go. So you're keeping it real there, because I lived through all those times that all that was going on. In fact, I was at the party when Vince Neil and Razzle went on that beer run, and Razzle never came back. Mm-hmm.
That's insane, crazy, man.
Yeah,
wow.
I used to hang out with Mick Mars at the Jan's Mall in Thousand Oaks.
Wow.
Yeah. So
that's crazy.
I'll tell you what, that's really what propelled me even further into metal, because, before the Sunset Strip days of Motley Crue and all the bands that were there, you basically had Maiden, you had Priest, you had stuff like that I was into. But I remember the first time I went to a club show, and it was at the Roxy on the Sunset Strip. Yeah. It was Motley Crue before they even had their first album. And I just remember going, oh my fucking God, I'm never going to a real concert ever again. This was the best shit ever. And then after the show, we're all walking up to the Rainbow. I think about it now. I was like, I don't know. At the time I was 14, 15. I'm like, I look at the Rainbow now. Like if I go there now, I'm like, how the hell did I ever get in this place? Oh, that's right. I was walking in with people like Motley Crue.
Yeah, and there you go. We walk in with Motley Crue, you're going anywhere you want to go.
Exactly. And there's no exaggeration to any of the stories. Like, listen, if you remember the 80s on the Sunset Strip, you weren't there.
Yep. Yeah, man.
So what is it that prompted you guys to have such, like a connection to that 80s scene? Like, because I think it's just way cool that here we are in 2024 and bringing that back. And there's a lot of it out there now.
Yeah, well, for me personally, and same with a lot of the guys, like that's what kind of we grew up with, like my dad playing that kind of stuff around the house, a lot of the Crew, Skid Row, Rat, Cinderella, that kind of stuff. So it's something I grew up with, and then just seeing that kind of that scene, that culture, that the trends and whatnot, the big old hair, and it's like there's something that's like gravitational to it, right? It really pulls you in, and it's hard not to look at.
Right.
That's and me just being the attention whore that I am. That's exactly what I want. I want people to look at me. So figure, the more hair I have and the higher my vocals are, then we're set.
there it is. And I did see you guys. I saw a video of you guys doing Livewire, and I think maybe you guys should go on and do the Motley Crue tour.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Yeah, no, it's a great song. We added that to our set maybe 6 months after we started playing live. I pushed for that one hard too, but once we added it, we played a smaller venue, like it's like this little bar like a dive bar place. But we played it last, and we're like, who knows Motley Crue? There's a pit going, and everything is like that's staying in the set for sure.
Nice. I love it. And speaking of starting, like I gotta give you major props because it's awful ballsy to start a band during the pandemic.
For sure. Definitely didn't make things easy. The rest of the guys, I don't know if you know, I'm the second singer of the band actually. So they started during the pandemic, just doing some 2 EPs there, with the original singer, and things didn't work out. He didn't want to play live, and just wasn't right for the band. So I joined in right tail end of the pandemic, right when things were starting to open up. I got in the band. The first thing I said, we're playing live. So we yeah,
you can't be an 80s. You can't be an 80s metal band and not play live. Like that was
exactly
the whole point.
Right. Yeah, yeah. So that's what we did. We did our first show on Halloween of 2021,
Nice.
and we tried to do the whole Motley Crue thing, bring in the smoke cannons and all the theatrics we can to the show. So it was definitely a really fun time.
I love that, and I love you brought up Halloween because that was also like. That was really like that Roxy show was my first club show. And then after that, the next show was what really made me just hang out at the Sunset Strip, the Troubadour, the Country Club in Reseda, like all the time. And it was on Halloween. And I remember, okay, so we used to go to this record store in the Valley called Oz Records. And there was a store clerk there that worked there that would always recommend music to us because back then you couldn't listen to Spotify. Like you had to buy shit and you didn't even know what it sounded like. And if you went to shows, it was because you saw a picture and you're like, oh, they look cool. We're going to that show. You didn't even know what they sounded like. And that dude that was that record store clerk was also the owner of this small record label at the time called Metal Blade Records.
Oh, wow.
I'm sure you've heard.
Yeah.
And
awesome.
So we were in there one time and there was this magazine. It was called BAM Magazine. It was like a newspaper magazine for, the music scene in Hollywood and stuff. And there was this ad for this show and they were just on tour recently, both bands, Wasp and Armored Saint, and this other band, Headshaker, that doesn't exist today, but it was Wasp and Armored Saint. The picture was of Wasp, and I was like, man, they are cool as hell. And I
Yeah.
went to that show on Halloween, and that's when I ended up like meeting from then on all those bands. Like the bands you mentioned, met and partied with them all. Like it was just this one big scene back then where
Yeah.
just everybody knew everybody. It was fun. It was partying. It was having the time of your life. And I think that's what your music is about, is like, forget all this bullshit we're going on in the world. Okay. Escape in the music. And you guys have that type of music that gives you the vibe where you can feel good and not worry about all the crap going on.
Absolutely, man. Thanks a lot for that. Yeah. It definitely, yeah, that's kind of another big part of like why we're choosing to pursue the kind of music we are, is like that's such a huge anthem of like, fuck everyone else, right? We're here to do what
Right.
we want to do, and try and make some cool songs out of it. And I think with this new album, we've definitely achieved that, and I'm really excited for it.
So tell us about the new album.
Mhm.
If anybody's happened to listen to your previous albums, EPs, this is the first full-length album, which it
Mhm.
drops on May 9th. And so how would you say this has created like involvement for the band? Because I always find that and back then, the first and second were really good because it was the club stuff and it was the stuff that was familiar. But it was about time where you got to those like full length albums that you were really forming who you were as a band.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's true with this especially is like I mentioned, like I'm the second singer to come into the band here, and ideally the last. um, yeah, so the first two albums definitely had that same kind of 80s feel, more hard rock kind of thing. Um, I came in, and when we started writing stuff together, we found this different kind of like aggression we didn't have before, and we were able to write some really cool songs, some more punk feel to it, some more of that real 80s hair metal vibes to it, and just that almost anarchist vibe to things. It's sex, drugs, rock and roll, and that's what we're here to try and revive.
See, and I love that too, because when I went to that first Motley Crue show, they weren't glam, they weren't hair metal, because there was no such thing yet. They were actually like horror punk.
Yeah,
Like Shout at the Devil was their original music.
yeah,
Too Fast for Love was what the record labels wanted to put out.
exactly, yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
with this
I
album,
love that.
this album, it's exactly what we wanted to do. We have a lot better team working together now, and it's been amazing with coming on, and I've been writing lyrics and helping rearrange parts of the songs, and just writing what I can and helping as much as possible. And to have so many of my lyrics just work out so well with what Blade's written, with what Fangs has written, it's been super cool, this process.
So tell me what happened since you're the second singer. How did they come to you or you come to them?
It was it was funny. I was hanging out with this girl, just scrolling through Facebook, and I
It's
see a
always a
post.
girl.
It's always a girl, right? See this post. I was just doing my solo music at the time, which is it's not so much rock, but more kind of acoustic kind of stuff. But I've loved playing in bands. I've played in bands since I was 6 or something. So, but I see this post for Calgary 80s hair band looking for lead vocalists. I'm like, I'm a lead vocalist, and it's great. So I threw him a message, told him about my story, my influences, kind of thing. And I got a call for an audition. Went and did my audition, and Fangs is the one who calls me a couple days later, and he's an asshole. So he calls and he goes, "Hey man, we're really sorry to tell you, man. I talked to the whole band and really fought for you, but unfortunately, you're the new singer of Lynx." So fucking asshole. Got me.
I love that. That's so me. I would so do that myself.
Yep.
So I love
Yeah.
that. So those live shows,
Mhm.
okay? Tell us more about what we can expect at a live show, because that's what it's all about.
To put it simply, is energy. We're a really high energy band, and we get the crowd moving, and that's what we're here to do, man. We're here to provide something that not a lot of other bands in the city are doing right now, and it's such an interactive experience, and it's from what I've heard from a lot of people who've come to it, it's not something you can find with any other band. There's not a whole lot of those headbang and shake your ass kind of bands anymore. So it's something you can expect for us. Along with, I'm myself and the rest of the band, we're all very theatrical guys. So, it's as much of a show as it is a performance. And it's super fun stuff, man.
That's the way it should be too. Okay. Like, because I've talked about this. In fact, I had a debate about this with somebody recently on social media, because like everything's a frickin' debate on there. But it's like, somebody was talking about some band. I can't even remember what it was, but I just remember them arguing about, being a performer. And like, that is what you are. When you're getting up on stage, you're a performer. People don't realize that there's multiple assets, personality assets to everybody, but even more so for a musician. Like, who you are on stage doesn't mean that's exactly who you are off stage. People want to be entertained. Music is more than just the music. It's a complete package. It's the artwork.
I agree.
Which I love the artwork of the album.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. That's the album, or the single cover. The album cover also got released as well. But yeah, it's super fun stuff. New merch coming with that too. And it's, I love the art we got for this album. It's darker.
Yeah, see, that's all important. Cool. It's all important to me. Like, and that also brings us back to the 80s, because back in the 80s, I would sit on my balcony, buy an album, listen to the album 10 million times, and while I was doing it, look at all the artwork, every little detail, check out all the lyrics. That's why, people will say, like, people from the 80s, they know every lyric to every song. And that's why, because it was like homework.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And that's what we've done with this album too. All of our, we just got our vinyls and physical CDs in. The whole thing has got your little pamphlet with all your lyrics in it, and the artwork inside, same with the vinyl. And we're doing the whole 80s experience on the new album here. So
I love it. And how do people connect to you guys on socials, on the web, get your merch, check out the new album? If there's a way to pre-order it or pre-save it before it drops, get it when it drops, all that good stuff. Yeah.
So you can check us out on Instagram, Facebook, Spotify. We can pre-save the new song that's coming out. March 18th is our first single, the title track, Claws Out. We've got those coming out. As of April 11th, you'll be able to pre-order the album, and you can check out our website. That's going to have all the information you need on there. So that's lynxrocks.com. And you'll see all our shows, our merch, the album stuff. Everything you need to know is on the website there. So give that a look over.
All right, nice. So are there any other final words you want to leave our listeners with that we haven't covered already that you want them to know about the band?
Not really. I think we've covered. So, I mean, if there's one way to say what you'll get at a Lynx, it is a blast from the 80s. It is a party, and it is always fun. So if you're into anything that's enjoyable in the world, check out our music.
Love it. And it is enjoyable. You guys rock, pun intended. And thanks a lot for being on the Adventures of Pipeman.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for listening to the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY Radio.